I'll primarily first two readings. So we'll just do a quick kind of recap really. First one, a little bit of discussion, and then we'll go into the second reading, and then we've got a bit of a couple of activities really after the second meeting that sort of seek to kind of seek your feedback on some of the ideas in the two pieces, and that look to actually act on some of the information as well. So trying to see how we can use some of that information to influence what we're doing in the course. So yeah, so we'll get the first reading. So I'll just run. All I really wanted to do with this piece, there's a couple of notes up there that Amy's put together, and I was just going to run through a couple of the ideas that were in the piece and a couple of things that I thought were sort of interesting, and then sort of give people an opportunity as well to maybe contribute any other ideas that really resonate with them. So I'm literally just going to wander through the notes that I had here. So just some of I've just really sort of drawn out some of the things that she said, and I'll kind of just repeat those just as a reminder. So said that, you know, they allowed the teacher so that the experience allowed her to relax her hold on the teacher's power in the classroom, and it gave her the confidence to design new learning experiences that challenged what it meant to teach and learn. Does anyone in there that kind of contribute what she did? Did everyone have a chance to kind of read it? Yeah, a recap. So essentially, it was a teacher working in the Geelong area. She she worked with a NIM. Or do you want to?
Yeah, she worked with the NIM group, and it was high school students aged from year 7 to 10, and it was for one semester. And they basically formed communities of 7 classes, all in one team for one teacher, and they had different subjects going into the NIM.
I think it
was one maybe. I think I remember that. And so basically, like, obviously we're using NIM, kind of like Facebook. And basically, what I thought was interesting was how they developed a lot of different groups, and these groups were student initiated groups, and some were already groups formed by the teacher. And there were some funny ones like, you know, not enough chairs in the classroom.
Goldfish died.
Yeah, and then you can tell the handout is probably the teacher. You know, when you lose your handout, hopefully you can find it. Get up and you know how to say it. You know how when you get students that come up to you and be like, "Where's my handout?" Like I've lost it. So I think those are kind of interesting things that kind of evolved out of the NIM network. There were kind of teacher groups as such formed. What else?
Yeah. So she draws a lot of different theories, and it's a real patchwork of different theories. Yeah, you know, chaos and complexity theory, and constructivist theory, and these sort of make sense of the situation. Paint you get to a picture where she kind of gets out of hand. You know, she talks about you know, she loves in there and like suddenly all these groups it's just kind of holy. What am I going to do? How do I manage this? How do I keep track of what's happening in all these different groups? She's madly kind of trying to join groups and moderate and bring in a process where they have to actually, you know, check in with her. She has to actually approve the groups before they go on, because you realize she can't do that.
Yeah.
So she kind of just gives herself over to it. A bit of the kind of chaos of it, and things, and starts to kind of look at what she can kind of give to the students to do. And she gets to a point where she gets them involved in assessment and assessing each other's work, and so it starts to really kind of play with the boundaries of the teacher-student kind of relationship, really, and moves in, like I say, that kind of constructivist approach back to constructing and learning together. You know, and she talks about things like, you know, by looking at the interactions between the students in the study, patterns became visible and could be extrapolated.
Like metaphor.
There's a gorgeous metaphor in there. Yeah. Where she talks about something brought up by Pico in a book called Fractal Horizon. Yeah. And she describes this kind of chaos in there as, you know, or thinks of a description that he's come up with really describes it. She said in his book, Fractal Rise, he described watching the surf wake and considering billions of water particles responding separately to the conflicts between gravity, wind, inertia, and cohesion. And so it's just lovely kind of metaphor of things being so out of control, but and trying to kind of work with that.
So it's really student-led, and it's from that constructivist point of view,
Yeah, that's right.
That, although, like,
Connectivism.
yeah, there was a bit of things about connectivism too. Yeah, definitely.
So she's talking about the students' roles being things like they become explorers and designers and publishers, who's encouraged them to support their peers and self-reflect and provide both peer assessment and self-assessment. So their roles, I guess, in that relationship of learning and sharing.
And I guess for the teacher, I think it took a lot of extra time and effort to kind of observe the latest activity that was happening. So before and after school, that took probably a lot of time out of her schedule. But in saying that, she didn't have to do as much assessment because she had the students assessing each other. So I guess it's a bit of give and take.
And she did.
Yeah.
She liked the idea that by drawing the students into the assessment process, that it started to generate new knowledge for them. So they started to value, their the opinions of their peers, and at times they were critical of their peers, and when they felt that the work contained little thought or effort, it was sort of just a cut pace. So they started to become moderators of each other's work, I guess.
And it was interesting as well, like Year 7s, forming a group, but they don't know that it might be the Year 10 student, and that was kind of interesting too.
And just another thing, there was the quiet students in the class who didn't participate, got on the knee and got kicked off for inappropriate behaviour.
Yeah.
So that's sort of a...
Yeah.
We didn't need to say
Cool. So she notes in there too that she again draws on another here as the researcher of the drought, DRAUT, and so keeps in mind and the idea there being the teacher remains accountable for the learner's long-term progress, motivation, and well-being. So it's not about entirely investing yourself in your role as a teacher, but trying to kind of reimagine that in quite a chaotic space. And she talks again about there being a massive bank of student documented interests and thinking in there. And obviously with challenges in being able to kind of manage and deal with that and interact with that.
And also the issues of, like, I guess, cheating, copying somebody's work, and whether you're actually adding to what someone else is saying, or are you copying it for, are you copying it, those kind of issues. But they were eventually resolved, and it had higher order thinking, and they just resolved that naturally throughout the process.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's starting to kind of work out their own boundaries. But it does make you think that you don't necessarily get I was teaching years ago, you didn't get a lot of opportunity to comment on each other's work. So, it's an interesting part. And she said, reflecting on the disorder that occurred, she felt that she could see the possibilities of using disorder as a teachable moment. Which is looking at this. Probably so there's a couple of things that were just general questions I would raise in this, or ideas. One thing was that idea of constructivist versus instructional teaching. Such a tension in there. about that, and I don't think it's resolved. I think that's probably something that would be good to kind of reflect on with perhaps some discussion. I thought it was an interesting kind of patchwork. The areas at times I felt like she was grasping at a little bit, trying to kind of bring things together maybe to make sense of this sort of situation for herself.
Probably not an argument for either or.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, kids actually know construction.
Yeah.
I understand content.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah, it's applied stuff, absolutely.
and there is often tasks like that.
Yeah.
But you can't get stuff all the time.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting lead into the next piece too, is the idea of, the next piece talks a lot about the need to be a pedagogy, about draws together the tech and the sort of pedagogical practice and really thinking around what that might be and might look like. And I think again the tensions are there in that one too around constructivist versus instructional teaching. I think that's a common theme involved.
And also there's that issue of, I guess, trust as well, like whether you trust people online in that space. I mean, you might see them face to face at school, but and also some of them you don't know, like how do you kind of build on that trust? Like, I don't think there's an exact formula, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Like you're saying that year 7 students
Yeah.
in the same group as year 10 have playing and they would be socialising together.
Yeah.
So it gives a common medium for the students to interact with.
Yeah. Or maybe they could make guidelines together as a group on how to facilitate that in that classroom environment. They have to make it up themselves. I don't know.
The structure of their class was sort of weird, that they'd have like A, B, C, D courses, but it didn't matter what year they were in. You can see that, it was like when I went to school, you're in grade 3, you're in grade 4, whatever. Here you could have students from year 7 or year 10 studying a introduction to multimedia or something. I don't know.
I think maybe it's probably easier from the teacher's point of view because it's all her classes. So it seemed like it was designed that way.
The last thought from me was just I just questioned the value of it. It's a lot of effort there kids are putting in. How much are they genuinely learning in that environment? How valuable is it? How much, there's obviously really positive things, and we've noted a number of those. Kids having much more interaction with each other about their work, building different ways of working together and acknowledging those things are great, but just wondered if it was a worthwhile experience or not. I think it was kind of resolved that. So.
Well, the currency, she probably did it in, I suppose, 2011, which in the scheme of things is decades in IT, like where social media's moved from then, when it was beginning, I think that's when I joined it, 2010, to now it's just so pervasive, like everyone's on Facebook and that, so it's part of their lives.
Yeah.
And it was in Australia probably ahead of its time, where teachers hadn't considered, let's create a social network of learning in these classes. Today, I think it would be the same thing, because we're dealing with, as they all describe, digital natives. The door is on the phone, just goes, Dad, I see you. It's done. I'm not getting the IT expert. It would have been different if it was done this year.
It's a fair point though, that it's kind of early experimentation. It's it advances kind of thinking and it's an interesting kind of track. Actually think about how much brand design. At the end of that, they'll often say, well, maybe we can apply the work, but we need people like that doing this sort of thing to kind of, bring a bit of life into the world and progress things. But it's kind of similar thing there, because many people playing with these things to kind of see how they might or might not work.
I think it's also just moving that much about how much they learn about what they learn.
Yeah.
Because it kind of is the next thing about that how it's so different that helping the facility and these kind of things, so they help with educating things more of that kind of thing.
Yeah. Stepping stone. Yeah.
Foundation.
Yeah. I'll be on track on this. There's value there. I just need to help find it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
And then
Who's this?
How much you can work. Yeah. I had my exam communication online communities, how you can better scaffold communication, how you can better just ensure best practices and how to teach kids about that. And I think there's so much learning that needs to happen before we can really be successful in this sort of stuff. And so I think that it's really good to have setting up a experiment, but we need to make sure that the teacher are really clear and focusing on expectations of what we want them to do and what we want them to participate in.
I guess it's open to what it is that one.
Yeah.
It might not be what you usually intended, but it might be Are there any other thinking threads on that? Anyone else in that piece? You can ask someone else.
Or maybe what level of control should a teacher have in an online networking site?
I think you should have a group.
Yeah.
Like,
For each group, for every group, or like do you have to accept everything? Like,
I don't know for I have 100% approval with everything that goes on there. There's the kids 10, 11, and so that's every single one. Yeah, and that's part of our society of the safety of the policies and that's the biggest product.
There's some of the, yes, and what I say, it's a research talking about that stagnation.
Yeah, it's just you need to tell them
that could kill the conversation. Actually, you find it.
I find it a little bit, but when we made part of their homework that they have to contribute to the conversations, kind of became a little bit more so.
Yeah.
So, you know, they have the option of contributing as well as what they have that has really brought it up a bit more into seeing them to each other and having conversations about different ways of doing this because of that expectation we put in place. But I do agree where, like myself and the other 4, 5, 6 teachers, if we're extremely busy, you know, writing reports or whatever, and we're in this lack of improving the comments, kids get really annoyed when they come in and they're like, you haven't improved my comment, I haven't seen my comment on the blog yet. So that's good in a way, but if we're a bit slack, then it does tend to delay it a bit. But I guess it's one of those things that you have a conversation with at your school, and it would depend on your policy, because if that's a school-run system, then anything that's put on there, it doesn't matter what time of day it's put on there.
Yeah.
If there's a bullying scenario or some sort of abusive comment or something like that happening at 10, 11 o'clock at night, you'd rather not let that spiral overnight. You'd rather be able to stop on it immediately. I think personally, it's like a bit tricky. I don't know.
Different through, but at my work, there was a big push to drive more of the social media. So not just to have Facebook tweeting from the organisation itself, but from us as well, within the organisation. So tweet under our own, trying to retweet stuff and do it, sort of thing. And it's an interesting way of the organisation to go because it kind of benefits itself of having complete control of communication. And my CEO is like, and they were everything and interesting, and then they worked it out because everybody says I think it's only about 2 times people were, recalled the task really because they were using social media channel. They might have some additional input, which is the disaster for us. But other than that, and they actually stepped back, they actually made a conscious decision not to put policy in place about how people use social media. They just wanted to kind of go, will trust you and say others and looking at issues as like, oh, that's interesting, and it's actually worked out quite well.
I guess
But that's not all.
purpose a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could have kids who do want to cause trouble and don't really care if they get a whole lot of trouble, whereas as an adult, there's different things you're laying up. You don't want to lose your job. No one wants to lose their job. Whereas kids sometimes do want to get suspended, a little bit different.
Anyone else had any other experiences with using online social networks?
We use Edmodo, and we don't have like a critical comment, but we give an email and not comments. So it's annoying because you don't have an email, especially when someone's involved in the problem. But you can send an email or like maybe like my post. So they'll like unlike post, unlike it again, and get it back in time. That's annoying for us. At the same time, I think they might post saying, hey guys, look, homework, do I have to do this? And I might not get into it. They'll send it to everyone. Then someone will reply and say, yeah, that's what you're doing. Someone else say, well, add to it. But by the time I get into the post, the question's been answered, and they don't have to even worry about talking to me. Usually I just reiterate what's been said, but it's really good like that.
Information, though, they might be all unclear and going down the wrong path. That can be a problem in forums. They'll misinterpret the question incorrectly, and two of them will follow on sheet. So,
If you're getting the alert.
yeah, the alert, you might be more, you might get it or you're moving or something, they're not actually confirmed.
I just think it's a little bit of a point to me, like, to leave it and then for me to have to say, okay, I approve this comment. I feel like that maybe I'm really stressing out and I'm like, oh, I don't know the answer to this, or oh, I really want to share this thing, and then I have to wait for me to say it. So ours is just open that they can do it. We can delete comments if it's inappropriate or whatever, but we do a lot of background work to make sure that there aren't inappropriate comments or, that they know the ethics post, etc. But I can see why schools would do that, because we had a girl post that her grandpa died, and everyone was giving condolences, really nice messages, and then some boy said blah 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 blah, and then everyone started saying, "How dare you, Thomas? That's so rude." So I could see if I had been able to stop that post, I would have stopped his blah 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 post, and then no one would have this whole argument started. So very two sides. Yeah.
It's different though to that scratch site, which was what you're describing. It just reminded me of that last week's discussion of the scratch one. I know we were really talking about connectivism last week, but that scratch one was so interesting. I thought they were worth reading. And I think, they're obviously worried about the same things, whether or not they could have done something to improve the way in which they were getting, non-contributing, sort of non-useful posts. But I think that is actually part of the issue here, isn't it? Really, it's like you are going to expose yourself to that if you let it stay open and don't moderate everything. But I kind of liked what she said about the wave when she left it open so that anyone could start a group. And I think she was most worried about the approval system and that people would start making groups that were really crazy, which seems like some of the groups were pretty crazy.
There's so many groups that are
But then they backed off. And what she's sort of describing is what we were describing last week with connectivism in relation to Casey's thing about that kind of self-organising chaos. It is chaos, but when she couldn't fix it because she had other classes to go to, she couldn't, and she tried before. Remember, she's saying she started to panic. She wanted to stop them being able to create their own groups independent of her and to get approval through. But when she came back, it had actually settled down. Now, I'm not saying just, live with chaos, but I think that's the point that she's trying to make, and why, when you're reading it, you think, do I want to live, or at least have a portion of my time as a teacher in chaos? And I think she's trying to say towards the end, a bit like the scratch people are saying, that, they are issues for these environments. They need to be thought about, but maybe you don't need to be, you don't want to destroy the environment. Do you know what I mean? The reason for having those kind of environments is to
Have that unpredictability.
have a little bit of confusion, a bit of unpredictability, and maybe there's a bit of a learning experience. I'm not saying that it always will work, but there might be some.
Like, should everything be structured or?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
I was just saying, should everything be structured or have that sense of unpredictability? It's hard to.
Yeah, I think you have to have some structure, don't you?
I mean, you have to structure.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why we need to seems to not take so much fear all of that must find innovative ways to construct the order of driving with chaos and build resilience to the traditional training and distinctively guys and take control. So
Yeah.
it ties in. It doesn't talk about the kind of the instructional, but it talks about that kind of working chaos.
Yeah.
Allowing it in and trying to, just trying to massage it.
It's almost more chaotic. It would be more chaotic for me, and I know that I don't do this, so I'm not saying that maybe some of you do, but I would hate to have to moderate every single thing that you guys said. I would. It would, and I've never done it with any of my classes.
And that comes back to an earlier topic that always been on. You're like these sole administrators or moderators performing. You want to have a weekend, but you know that you pause and not accept everything that's posted, then it's not fair on well, personally, I don't think it's fair on either the teacher, the person moderating, or the students that aren't. Well,
Yeah, when do you switch off? Like,
How would you do it if you didn't moderate it yourself? Like, have you got any sort of suggestions? I'm not saying you have to come up with a solution. Do you have any suggestions that people use, or you know that you use yourself?
Well, I run a sport program at the school, specific sport school. We have a Facebook group just to manage communications. It's just always a sort of they don't all just rooms. It's just a reality. They check their Facebook more. Yeah. And it's just very clear at the start of the season that that's all it's for. And nothing else. It's just there's no other reason. So yeah, that's what it'll be like. And I might say like if this was a workplace, you could find up there, you probably fight. Yeah. I mean it's pretty harsh. But that's just life setting to use it for another reason. I wouldn't say it's the same attitude.
But the design, or at least the preface.
I mean, the scope is there for them to write on the page.
Yeah.
It's only really used for me to broadcast things and they need to express.
But it seems logical to me to say what you said, that you wouldn't put stuff up here if this was your workplace.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd hope that the students, most students, would get the point. That it's not appropriate to do that, and you will be, you'll be told off. It'll not be left. You won't just get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just very worried of how dangerous it is to be Facebook. I mean, I only have a Facebook account to run that discussion and communication forum.
Yeah.
I don't have a personal Facebook account.
Yeah.
And even stuff like they try and add it. It's like, there's no point because there's a picture of a lake, and that's it. There's nothing quite.
I think it's add you to their friends.
Yeah. And it's just addressing that sort of stuff, but it's still not directly. So.
But I think that's good advice. I mean, I really don't think there's anything wrong with, setting up some rules or saying there's consequences. Anybody else got anything else that they think might be constructive?
Could you just empower classes with teaching and make any atmosphere, and therefore continue to get leads on that project?
What do people think?
Gives them responsibility. Say right, then I'm not fucking program. It's on you.
You can always rotate that too. And I mean, I feel if I was a student, I'm not saying that this would always be the case, that you would feel a sense of power and sort of authority. I don't know whether that's a good feeling. Is that a good feeling?
Yes, you run the risk of normal, not appropriate things getting up to
don't know what the down on things.
Yeah, but that would, you would take the power off that student immediately. If that, you know what I mean? Like, there'd be consequences for inappropriate moderation.
Moderator.
Yeah,
Moderating.
you only moderate one, not 2 or 5, whatever number. But they're going to have to do the awful things you talked about now in the second class, because you know that the notion of the panopticon, the code, you know, that they moderate themselves because they know that they're being watched. So you've got this kind of universal kind of system in place that you can use. I'm not saying you have to, but that's not a bad idea. Get them to do some work and give them that status. And if all you then hopefully have to do is moderate them. And there's still good things could go wrong, of course, but it's possible.
Things can go wrong with them.
Yeah, it's all kind of part of the rich tapestry of teaching. But no, that's actually kind of a good idea. And I like the idea of preliminary kind of discussion with the students about, this is the way it's going to be used, and it's not going to be used for anything else.
Yeah.
That's the behavioural management we do at my school. Before the class even begins, you make sure that everyone agrees on the culture of the class, and then if it doesn't happen in the class, then go ahead.
Yeah.
Granted, it's a little bit different in prison, but it's still the same thing. Like school facilitates the lesson, DHS behaviour. There's a discrepancy between agreement between DHS and students.
Yeah. I still think that, again, wouldn't necessarily be a bad approach.
Yeah, and it's sort of just going on what it said about this is the purpose of this class, you'll agree on this, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's the same, this is the purpose of this class, this is how it's look, we'll agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But more often than not. I teach at Parkville, which is up there, and then the secondary. Yeah. And just, I was going to ask this before because we have no networking, no sort of digital learning, anything like that. And that's sort of why I did this, to sort of see what happened. I was going to ask if you guys find that the students actually value it and they respect the privilege or the extra advantages of doing the forums and the online thing. Because
They expect it.
yeah,
They expect that they've got this digital learning unit. That's one thing that they didn't have that education.
It's funny, isn't it? But it really is very much dependent on where it is. But really working with this origin on to you guys are so
yeah.
it's not something that's carried it's not something that's try. Whereas in my school, you have science, very traditional, formalised schools, and they don't seem very willing to use it either. So it obviously depends where you learn, how encouraging the school is, as in the administration. There's pros and problems. That's one too.
Well, I mean, it's one of the things you need to consider. I'm not saying you don't have to make a whole lot of assignment material about that, but it is actually these are issues. These are important things to consider, and you will, if you were thinking about the real world. I mean, I think probably you are, all of you. How would you go about using this fantastic technology? Like, what things need to be in place to make it work? I mean, it's not impossible to solve these problems, and some of them could be. I mean, you can solve them more rigidly. I think that's what the purpose of her. And I can see why you might not feel comfortable with the whole of the piece. And there was some. It gets worse in some of the other articles. We'll talk about those later. But the sense of, chaos is something that most of us sort of don't really want to live with. A bit of order is a nice thing to have. So, but I think she's trying to say that you've got to actually be prepared for a little bit of that, and maybe I don't know, in a prison situation, if you opened up the network, which I'd be very tentative about personally.
Yeah.
We could have a closed network.
Right.
Yeah. If that was possible, I'd be much more comfortable with that. I mean, I don't know why, but there may actually be some value in opening up the network and then treating it in the same way as you described, that there are consequences for the way in which you use the network. Like it just is a learning experience for what real networks are like. You can't go around destroying your own, environment. If you start destroying it, we'll take it off you. It's not going to happen. We'll close it down. We just keep closing bits of it down until it's nothing, or whatever. I'm not saying to be so sort of awful about it, but an issue. It is an issue, and in your environment, it's probably the same as the primary schools. Do you want to open it up and have all sorts of predators and trolls and nasty outsiders? I'm saying not. The school wouldn't be the problem, I don't think, or would it? Would the primary school kids be a problem?
I also had also something that I really a little bit about the choice stuff. And I think there's some platforms that are like social media, but it's just pretty more for school. So it keeps it from there and there. So it's kind of hard for maybe it's, in the early years, teaching what's the expression, they learn to read. So maybe grade they're not really to learn. So and they'll be able to skills that are learn maybe primary school. You can find the technology ways to help them learn how to use it, stuff that they can use and rather than become digitally aware and more of all the ethics that they can do.
Yeah, I think she said like if we sort of designed something specific for the school, we could avoid, I don't know, maybe kids posting personal things. Because if they're using like Facebook, I'm sure already have a personal Facebook account, but if they're specifically just like the name that was created for us, I mean, obviously none of us are actually going to post, so I made a cake today or something like that. But I think if we have we start sort of developing for, I don't know, a community specifically for academic purposes.
What do people think?
That used to be before I was in 17-year-olds, it's a bit different from primary schools. Beyond the basic rules of, trolling and, being polite and professional and all that, I set the ground rules. It's a pretty much free environment. I don't moderate activity in that sense, as long as it looks online. I found that generally students tend to behave and they know where the markers are. And it's quite surprising actually that some of the students have actually stepped up and taken the initiative with I teach literature. So what some students have done is, there's a play in town, and they've decided, hey, I want to share this with the group. And the next thing I know, they've already, set up a date. Let's go on this theater excursion. And I didn't have to do anything. So in a way, there's a splinter interest group that comes up from this literary group that I set up. And they also decided that they want a film marathon in school. So again, they're taking the initiative together, people together, using the Facebook group. So what film shall we screen? Who's going to bring what food and potluck? So all I did was really book the facilities, the audio visuals, the rooms, and everything was student planned. So in a way, the platform gave them that freedom, that opportunity to organize, I think, interest groups and make the subject matter. And initiatives.
Okay, so and that was a focused Facebook group. So that was yeah, for that area of study. That was your Facebook group for that area of study. I think that is actually part of, you know, I think it's a useful idea. Either you set up something that's completely separate, or it is shielded off. That is not going to, you don't necessarily, you would not put your Facebook group up and then join it as a normal Facebook user. You would obviously join it as a teacher and not put anything through that Facebook group that could be traced back to you. So it is a Facebook group that is for that community about that issue, and or you could just use a link to do just the same kind of thing that we've been doing in this course. The things cost an enormous amount of money now, so it's silly. But, you know, there's Edmodo and there's other ways of setting up accounts like Facebook or... which one? Which one? Yammer? Okay. And it's very screened to the email address too. You can't have an account on the Yammer account unless you've got the same email address as the who set the account up. I mean, they can screen it off to certain numbers of accounts, I suppose, but you have to have the same domain area. Yeah.
We use it at work for this is a kind of way of communicating. There's some interesting research around it, how it generates kind of things that interact in the workplace. So it's sort of like skirting normal communication. It didn't take off entirely to a order of people working that you do regular stuff on there. And it became it's working for a person. But then the organisation wasn't able to do
Do you want to move up? Yeah, sorry, I just was hold that. Oh, sorry, just go back to share there. Which one is that? This one?
That one.
Can I go back? So stop sharing. Can I just do this? Yeah. Just stop. And yeah, it's really share. We might just have to go through it. This one. Let's go forward. Cancel. Here we go. It's just taking a while to build up, I think. Stop. It's just building. It's just because it's so jammed up with content. Okay, so I'll just go to here. Now we got it. Yeah. Go back. If you.
Yeah, no, it's here.
Is it the right one?
Oh, do you want to share it though?
No, not sharing. It is. I did press it again. So sharing out loud to whoever is out there seeing it.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to the second reading, which was about the MOOC, which is the massive open online courses, and that again was the second reading, which was called A Pedagogy of Abundance, or A Pedagogy of to Support Human Beings. And I just wanted to ask, can anyone give me a definition of a MOOC? If anyone did the reading of it? Anyone?
Well, it's an online community.
Yeah.
That can be in many time zones, many languages, with usually a couple of facilitators to teach some content online.
Okay. Well, I'll just go on to the definition. So MOOCs invite open online participation around a topic of interest and a schedule or agenda, facilitated by people with a reputation or expertise in the topic of discussion, relying on successful formations of learning networks to assist people studying topics. So, so basically, yours is the shorter version, and that was like the longer version. So it's open online participation, so it could be thousands or hundreds of thousands of people participating in one specific topic.
It's like a hashtag in Twitter.
Yeah.
My Kitchen Rules is like that. And you put the hashtag and you've just got 30 comments every 15 seconds, you know, and they're paying out on all the participants and you go, oh, that looks yummy, oh, he's an idiot again and stuff. And that's a massive online community of people with the same topic. Now, there's no moderator, actually, you know, you've got 50 posts every minute more all the time. You just can't read them all.
Yeah.
Some funny stuff comes from it.
I guess this picture represents here, there, everywhere. Basically, it's on the rise, all these online environments. So there's quite a new and recent thing, I'd say, in the last maybe 3-4 years. And I guess there's lots of different providers. So we've got edX, Coursera. There's so many users, and the amount of courses that you can do is just unbelievable, and you can do them in whatever, like, you know, it could be science, or it could be art, or it could be anything, that type of thing. So I think this is a really good explanation of what a MOOC is. I found this on the internet. So what actually is massive? Is it 100? Can it be 100,000? How many people are participating? Can it be 1 million people? That's one facilitator. Like, that's a really, really big community. Also, they're mostly free of charge. So, you know, what's the point of, you know, universities then if these are free of charge services? Well, and then
There would be any official accreditation.
no, exactly. That's what I was going to get to. Like, so who's kind of interested in this kind of environment?
It might be to supplement your actual learning.
Yeah, exactly.
In something you study, and you think, oh, right, well, I'm studying this particular topic, and there's a move there, I want to join up and just, you know, see what
Yeah. So you might say, oh, I want to learn about teaching, and then you find a MOOC on teaching, and then that might be a 6-week kind of small course, and then that university, it might be just like a thing for the degree. Gives you a bit of background information. Yeah,
I was going to say, does that bring into question like the credibility of it? Like, do you have to submit it? Like, I could say that I'm an expert in deep sea diving, but I've never done any deep sea diving. I could run a whole different.
Yeah, well, I think they're mostly meant to be people with like, high degrees.
So,
They're usually going through unis, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
I did one through the University of South Australia.
Yeah.
And on there, normally from like reputable organisations.
Yeah, normally they've got a couple of reputable people involved.
Yeah.
So,
Higher.
to comment to be involved, you have to have any kind of.
No, usually not.
It's pretty much, it's pretty much.
Yeah.
It's about, I think the attraction you get to access that.
Yeah.
Often they get pretty interesting things. Some of the ones that I've seen, so you know, it's not kind of attractive to come in.
But you don't get much interaction exactly with the facilitator. I mean, just 100,000 people in there, like, they're not going to respond to you straight away. Like, they probably won't respond back to you. Right? It's about the peer feedback. I'm going back to that idea we just mentioned as well about how the peer feedback helps.
It's like, it's like in Wenger or regular.
Yeah.
Wenger. Every
Wenger or Wenger?
No, probably
Wenger.
but it's like, you know, people around MOOC, I mean, it's just everybody referencing it. You know, a lot of people probably interested to hear what he has to say. What does he think now? A lot of the pieces we read from him were 1998, 2011, etc. It's interesting to be a group and see what do you think are really important right now. So if you have access to really current expertise, and I don't have to have him talk to me directly, but And he can throw some ideas and I can talk about people about it.
I think he's been reading on his last week, 600 page. What's his name? I'm not saying that's the other one.
Steve Downs. Get to see
Oh,
that.
I think he's got an open online course and connected his. Yeah, he's good. Well, yeah, it's like
And was it assessments? Was there any like assessment saying yes, you passed?
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
Where you got a student say yes, you there.
I did it this summer over a couple of weeks, and it was on the digital technologies curriculum. So I thought, oh, I should probably like get a bit of exposure to that. And there was assessment in the peer review. So my like little portfolio, I had all the videos and I watched all the videos, but to be honest, I sort of skipped through afterwards. I'm like, oh, I know this, I know that, and then I did a little assessment at the end, and I always passed the assessment. And then with my portfolio, I put that up onto a Google Plus community, and then I had to give feedback on other people's, and they gave feedback on mine. And then I emailed the lecturers saying, you know, I've completed X, Y, Z, here's my portfolio, here's my feedback that I've given. And then I wrote down the bottom, really looking forward to hearing your feedback, because I thought, well, I want something from them. And they emailed me back, and they were like, yeah, look, we're working our way through all of the stuff. We'll let you know when we get to it. I submitted it in January. I haven't heard, but I did get a certificate of completion. Yeah. So I think they just saw that I'd done the requirements. They didn't look at the quality of the work that I produced. They just saw that I'd done. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And they said, yeah, she's done something that's on the right track. I don't know. There were heaps of people uploading to the Google Plus community. No, it would be down.
And did you form any like relationships with anybody, or was that too hard because it's so broad?
I think because it was so broad.
Yeah.
I tried to comment on the people that had commented online, because I thought, oh, you know, they're interested in my topic, they may be also interested in their topic, and will have some sort of thing in common. And I've always responded to it, but it was very much, you get your task done, you do your comment, and you walk away. That was the kind of vibe I got. I think just because it was so big. Yeah.
Yeah, so massive online course. The start, is it start or end date? You know, is it in the going from here? Should it start and end, or you know, those couple of questions, and you know, badges, should people get a badge or something for that completion or some type of thing to say that they've participated. Well, and I've also got this. So when researching MOOCs, I found this on the internet. I thought it was really good, and basically I'll just read it out. So the illustrator describes the MOOC. There's an ocean. There's a shoal of fish appear around some event, a node, perhaps an abundance of food, a common aim to feed. This further attracts some bigger fish, some experts. There's a feeding frenzy. Material is transformed, food into detritus, which sinks to the ocean bed where it is archived. Other fish stay out of the way, but observe. Then, later perhaps, long after the feeding frenzy, the bottom feeders move in and take what they want from the remnant. So I thought that was a really kind of cool and creative way to see how design was. No, I just found on the internet. I just thought, because I'm such a visual person, I love like visuals, so this kind of explained it a lot easier to me than I guess big live readings. And so I thought this was really kind of cool, because like there's two sharks were named, you know, facilitators or monitors, and there's like a lot of chaos going over here, and then you know, things get archived, and but then there's the workers who are just like looking around, but they're not actually participating. So kind of different roles, and how much, what does that exactly mean for that? If they're learning, like the workers, does that mean?
They're surviving.
Yeah, they're surviving, but are they learning properly, or they're just kind of passively sitting there, like, you know, like, I don't know. I just thought it was
I like the idea there, so that repurposing knowledge, so it's created in that shoal, and then it's spat out in some way, but created, and then I can have it taken up again, like different people are using it different ways. That's a really strong thing.
Yeah.
Cycle.
I'll just go to the next one. So participating in a move, I actually just signed up to a free online one for 6 weeks, mindfulness. So I just signed up for this, and basically I was just looking at digital certificates as well and statements of attainment. So like, why do people actually do this? So do we value digital certificates as they don't reward credit points? You can buy statements of participation. You can actually buy them, but I mean, does that get you a credit? No. And some of them you can get a statement of attainment, but that's not that many. And so that was just kind of raising an interesting kind of points about, why is it just for ourselves to learn? Who would actually buy this statement of participation if it doesn't get you an actual reward? It's not legitimate. I don't know, like, yeah. Yeah.
You pay for it, that's 3 months as well.
Yes.
You pay for it to get the certificate with the stamp of the partner schools. So they have like Yale, Princeton, and all of these partner schools. And some of the courses have, I think most of them don't need like a prerequisite background, but then some of them do. Yeah. Like you need a particular course in, say, for example, music or something like that. I think you need to need like background.
I just wanted to do kind of a little activity. There's my notes here. Yeah. If everyone can get up for a second, stand up, please. Alright. Okay. Alright. So I'm just gonna ask a few questions. Alright. So this one is, I want a grade over there and just a grade over there. So if you agree with this statement, you are more likely to participate in a MOOC for a hobby rather than your job.
Please agree.
Agree
Yes.
or disagree?
Agree this one.
So if I wanted to do it for my job, I'd be over here.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can do the same if you really want to. So I'll hear from this group, why do you think more use it for a hobby?
Because your interest, you really want to learn more rather than attain a certificate or qualification.
Yeah, so, yeah, fair enough.
I think it gives you the option of doing what is not related to your job, so maybe that's it.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I think that it's something of that scale, that big, would be very hard to get to go over to once I get a trust.
Yeah, fair enough. And everyone from this group would disagree? Like, so you'd use it more for your job rather than a hobby?
I think that it looks good when you're originating. If you're putting something that's not 100% certifiable, it's just that you have an interest in that, and that you're willing to within time outside of school to participate in something that extends your knowledge in a particular area.
Yeah, so like for professional development.
Yeah, professional development.
Yeah, anyone else in the middle maybe? Or?
It's more in the middle. I think
You use it for both? Yeah, I don't think that either, but
It's on the one hand, right, because of the scenario for learning and also really like the environment that comes in direction. So you might go, you need this kind of gives you structure and direction in learning, but also on the job side, it shows that you're really keen to understand
I'll just go to the next one. Completing a MOOC course is more important than participating. If you think it is, agree or disagree?
This is saying participating in one.
So this side's participating and that side's completing.
That's completing.
Yep.
Oh, stand up there. Did you want to start? Why do you think it's completing? So you agree that completing is more important than participating?
Yeah, not strongly, but I mean, it just shows that you've gone the extra mile to actually complete the course.
Yeah.
And if it's for something like a job, you can't. Personally, I wouldn't put in my resume, well, I started the study of that, but then I got really bored, so I
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you get your participation
Yeah.
certificate or?
I don't know, I'm not willing to have an argument about it, because I'm not strongly agreeing.
Yeah,
with it,
but you display that by the.
yeah, I'm explaining that way.
And someone from this group as well? Any?
Depends on what is the objective of joining.
Yeah.
Because it's really about just enhancing your knowledge within keeping it may not necessarily be the main objective. But if I've learned something and I gained something from it, then that's enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to choose. I'll do another one. So do you agree with this statement? There should be more than one teacher from a course, to be successful for teaching 100,000 students. So you agree or disagree?
I think it can depend on the teacher. Say it was Mark Knopfler, really famous guitarist or something. It was like Mark Knopfler was running a course on his guitar technique. Well, of course, he would be the only teacher. But practically, it's impractical.
Yeah. Well, but a lot of them are just one or even two people. Like, I don't know.
But then for feedback purposes, like
Yeah.
if you want that conversation with an expert in the field, if you've only got one, how can they spread themselves that thin?
It's if you go down with it, I'm not going to get that expert. But I might get another person doing it. And say, together, we work at feedback from other people, and facilitator, which is why I sort of thought, hour and a half. I thought, no, actually, I'm not really looking at, I'm looking at them to throw ideas in there and get talking, but I'm looking at other people looking at work over.
But if I want to play guitar like my offer, I want to deal with my problem.
Yeah.
I don't want any other guitars.
But someone else might be better, might be that good. Someone else in the group might be a better teacher. They'll say, well, I
I
can
can play like my dog.
Yeah, like
It might be like having the opportunity to build those connections with that expert as well.
Yeah. That's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We retweet them every day until they want to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, should be a short course rather than a continuous lifelong. So if it should be a short course, like say 6 weeks, or if it should be a longer course, say like something that you continually part of and other people can join you.
Well, the Mark Knopfler,
That's right.
So is there no one in this one? Is there no one?
I'll go over. And the only reason why we
is I think you can have
like an ongoing relationship with something, and sometimes when things finish and you want to keep it going, it'd be lovely if all the kind of courses that I really, really loved, people stayed in touch with each other. Some of my own courses, you set up a blog that would be just a separate blog from university. Never happened.
So I'm saying that it's a lovely idea, only because I think there were so many contributions that I was getting in that particular environment that I'd like it to continue, and it could have continued, but in that case it didn't. So I tried it, and I thought it would work. It was so enthusiastic, but just fell away. They all were enthusiastic about it. Oh yeah, let's do it. And then it just dropped away. But I'm saying it's still possible. You ran a MOOC, that there may be some ongoing reason for
We could drop out and come back here.
I drop out, come back here, you could always just anyway.
Yeah, I think there's one.
Ask the other one, why sure? I want to know why sure.
Anyone? So, why short, what maybe 16 for?
I'm actually in the middle. I think that both are valuable. Like there's places for short courses, there's places for continuous learning. And a short course, there's no reason why that can't continue to be continuous learning. It's still there. People go back and learn up. Like, yeah, if you really want to go back and revisit, and that becomes continuous learning. But I don't know. I think so.
You talk about motivation as well. With short courses, like, well, you've got this kind of time frame. Okay, I can get that done kind of quickly. It's like, something you do, lots of things, like a lot harder to do, especially to motivate yourself. I think that's the issue with online. In this, like, how do you motivate yourself because there's no one there to kick stuff? Well, there's support networks and stuff, but, you might not always have to build strong relationships with other people. I'll just leave it there. So. Everyone can sit down.
Is that right?
Yeah. You can go right something. That's good.
So we just mentioned at the start that we wanted to kind of get to a point at the end of this where we start to kind of work a bit more with some of the ideas, which we did then, I think, and then now to just do a little bit more of that. So before I jump in, did anyone else read the other support piece? It's awesome. Awesome reading. It was this personal learning environments and open network learning environment. I thought it just blew me away. It was amazing what they were aiming to achieve. And it was really about, in this one that we were just talking about, the MOOCs are talking about sort of moving away from this platform, more kind of like a dashboard. We're drawing together different kind of apps and things like that to kind of create a more personalised kind of experience. And this just really jumps into that space and like create this sort of it's about moving away from kind of controlled learning management system, drawing together different technologies to create something quite kind of remarkable. And how do you, when you're drawing it, how you can. It's really hard to explain, but I really recommend you read it, and it's about how you can sort of harness all these different sorts of apps and technology, platforms and things that kind of start to work in an environment like that, and how you can start to connect ideas and people to ideas and that stuff and manage that information throughout all of that, like RSS feeds and things like that. And so it talks a lot about not having to kind of go to the actual discussion itself, but smartly working on the different technologies, you can have the kind of discussions come to you and pick up on what's really relevant to you. And talk a lot about tagging and using tags so that you can uncover that the conversations that are really relevant and interesting to you. I was really blown away. It sounded like the most remarkable kind of thing. Course and experience. So anyway, essentially what I wanted to do was has anyone else had exposure to design thinking? Yeah. What if you kind of use a design thinking kind of approach to the kind of media design thinking kind of session? And there's I work for ASOL, and it's a big thing that we're doing a lot of kind of design thinking. There's actually something available on our website. I can run you through what it is. And I might just, can I put a USB in with this?
Yeah.
Put it at the back, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Can I put it in there?
Oh, sorry, took mine out.
I can put it in there.
I'll give this another spot. No, put it in there. Let's just try that.
I'll just show you the results. So do I need to share that? Or?
You'll have, yeah, if you wanted to go to the two students who are online, but that's, we have to stop sharing the other.
I'm going to give it.
We can share it later.
Yeah.
You just talk about it. Okay. We'll send it back to them.
So, so essentially, this is the document that you can have a look at if you're interested in the idea of design thinking. And I just wanted to kind of point out that there's a couple of kind of parts to design thinking. It's, you know, you start with that idea of sort of stimulating, and then it works with the idea that you start from a problem. And, you know, you work with a group of people and say, okay, well, what's the problem? Let's talk together and work out what's the issue for us. What's a real problem of practice? And then you move into that, when you've done that, really sort of thought about what's the problem that's really relevant to you and you think you can address, then you move into that sort of incubating stage. That's when you start to really generate ideas, potential solutions, and explore options and all that sort of stuff, and evaluate what those ideas are. So that's kind of what I want to focus in on today, the idea of incubating. And I'm going to propose that for our stimulus is that I think, you know, in all these pieces that we've read and other pieces, but there's pieces particularly around today's reading, there's been lots of really great different technologies and talked about ways of approaching trying to deal with technology and pedagogy and how you can kind of bring these things together in a useful, meaningful way and manage some of the real issues that are in there around, you know, facilitating that kind of environment, etc., etc. I thought we could kind of draw on that as well as our own experience with a question around how could we, given this subject is 21st century learning, online social, what's the subject again? Online using practice. I thought maybe we could do a kind of design thinking thing around drawing on these pieces that we've read and our own knowledge. How could we enhance our experience in the course? Drawing on technology. Because I think it's a massive problem. There's so much technology that's available to us, and there's a million different ways that this course can be run. And I think the NIM is a really effective way to do it. But I thought, well, is there a way that, you know, we could maybe use the NIM more effectively together, or is there other technologies that we could use that could maybe, you know, enhance the experience more? That we could draw in. Is there benefit in us maybe not always being in the classroom, but being? I mean, some people made sort of choices to go outside of the classroom and experience that. So I just thought it's maybe worth thinking at this point, are there ways that we could enhance that experience? My boss at work said that was a bad idea to do, to raise that question, because I don't, you know.
Well, I think it's a really good idea, only because it's kind of similar to what I was thinking. You started a group in NIM, and I thought that was a really good sort of initiative to have a separate group on something you're interested in or whatever. But maybe we do this at the tables. We get the two students on the online, see if they can come up with any of what you're saying. Just experimental ideas.
Yeah, there's a process,
Some of which we may do, or some of which we may not. But any ideas about how we might explore the notions that come up in the MOOC study, or in the study of chaos in a classroom, and some of the elements that you're also referring to. So let's try that in the table. Is that okay? We want to have some ideas. Is this going to be useful?
I've got a way.
Oh, you've got a way. Go for it.
I think we'll often use this when we use design kind of rapid ideation. So you literally get a couple of minutes and just write down every idea that you can think of that you think is relevant. So, and then so everybody on the table sort of does that, and then you kind of have a look through what you've got and start to kind of evaluate what's, work out what are the themes, evaluate what's working, worthwhile kind of doing, and what's not. So, maybe we collapse into maybe 3 tables or something. Is that
sounds right. There's not that many people on the table.
Yeah, and we'll time it. Yeah, we'll give you time. Yeah, we'll give you time and maybe.
Write down a line or one person writing?
You all write it down, you're right. Some of these on the table.
I'm going to
sticky notes, you write it down, you type it on the table, and you've got, we'll do it for about sort of 4 minutes or something like that. So if you look at it, do you guys mind joining together the tables? So we've just got sort of 3 tables, because then that'll work next deal. So, as I said, informed by what you've read, informed by what you know, any ideas. So,
So how can we enhance your experience in the course by leveraging Ring more or doing more
Don't think
leveraging
too
other
much about
technology?
it, just write whatever comes down first to your head.
Write it
Sometimes
down,
they're
write
the
it down.
best ideas, but sometimes other ones take a while to do.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
So no small ideas, no big ideas, just write them
So I
down.
think we might have sending it to us. Or you could, I have to show you what we were actually just talking about. I'm just going to see if we can share the graphics. But just wait a second, I'll just see if I can share it.
What is the course again? Like, what can you
So yeah, we can actually do
technology?
like other ideas.
Yeah, so we're just trying out how much like.
What's ideas?
Yeah.
Given that, given what you've read, given what you know about technology, why don't we use harness technology in these forms, in a means, and we'll work on those ideas.
I know I write. I like yes, I think it's really like this.
Let me just remember it. This is.
Well, I actually want
No, there's no issue for me. I think I had the idea because you started.
you know,
Seems like
super
it's
functionality of.
just we actually are. So you've seen the screen things hearing discussing it, but you can listen on unnecessary. I was thinking that maybe we could offer projects in the group structure rather than just trying it out broadly and put it on me. And then we can start that tonight.
Yeah, well, I think.
Well, you have to keep the project. You may just set a group on that and see whether other people are interested in it. Some of the groups might actually collapse.
Yeah, I have that idea too.
Because they might collapse into each other.
Yeah.
Some of them might work. That's sort of similar to that for. In the first reading,
Yes, it is.
Casey. Yeah. So she
basically let it go.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, you can do it like, next step, start, do it like, so we're not going to raise all the whole thing.
Yeah.
Turn that off. It's so kind of trusting. But, you know, we won't lose. But the reality is that it's possible to get what you need, but everyone would have at least initially their own group. And see what happens. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go.
That's what people to see how much we work.
But I guess it's it just happens organically, and I guess that's sometimes
Yeah.
Or just kind of choose an idea or two and get people to kind of come up.
There's that maybe.
Well, we might move around and let's do it next week, guys. So we might be easier this way. We just kind of collapse into two groups. So can I take some of your ideas, guys, and get you guys to move and try and even release the ideas? So what we'll do next is I just want you to have a look through the ideas that you generated and just create some themes. Are there some similar ideas that you can kind of collapse together? And just see if you can order the ideas in that way. I'll just give you about 2 minutes to do that, and then we're going to choose one of the ideas to actually have to go and try to prototype. So you, for example, or you'll pick as a group an interesting idea and then see how you can actually incorporate that into the course or the need. So see if you can see the idea.
I didn't think
Yeah.
don't worry, no sound from here. The sound's way over there. I can't even hear you. Sorry.
So, just for the next bit, have a look at your groupings and pick an idea that you think is interesting or workable. And then just have a discussion around how you can actually make that happen. So, for example, tagging over there is an idea that was generated out of the pieces that we did today. So, how would you actually then go about doing tagging, for example? So pick one idea and then think about how you can make that work. You can draw it on the whiteboard paper if you want, like move the rollers that work. It's free, isn't it? So, and you're going to present, once you come up with your ideas, I think about sort of 5-10 minutes to work an idea, work one of the ideas, present that, how you think that could actually be incorporated into the course or the NIM. So yeah, and think about that, and then someone in the group can present that about 5 minutes. I'll give you some whiteboard markers, please. So just choose one that you're right on.
I reckon the app, like, I don't know how it's working, but it's
Existing. Well, they might have an app for just like
I need more. What do you want to get at? Like, nobody actually did it.
I'd rather get the bread.
What case? There's much
Yeah.
Is that what you want to call?
I think, yes, you want to have all this, like where the reading comments and it, and then you've got like rapidly right up there, then to put that running out, then that makes no sense, then not really good. That basically, you're not, yeah, you can't really watch it or even like photos and things like stuff that would be working very fast or, you know, but it's then people might see that that stuff really rough on there, so you can want to bring out as whatever, like, everybody is education for, I just feel like, sort of enjoying I'm right, so when it's go into the section, I'd like that to be, yeah. I think that we, like, I'm going to myself, I think the average voice is very level. And I feel like discussion is much better. Yeah, and yes, we have notifications, we've got, like, on Facebook, there's a conversation thread with replies. And that conversation.
You can see. So the other thing that's on, no, it's another thing, the number of views.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been ages. It's in the settings, so go into where the moderator setting. Everyone's moderator. So you go into anything you like. You want to turn it on,
That's how I work.
yeah. It's called that, what is it called?
I know, that's so. Yeah. I guess that's like, but we wrote down like clarifying online. What is that contribution? What does that mean?
No, that's 5 people max. So many minutes.
Would just be.
Well, you know, it could pop up there.
Yeah. Okay, but what we're trying to do is the same for the ranking of.
So in the same way,
page also provides another page ranking. So you can find out where it is. What? Yeah.
Wait.
Like, they should have one anyway, you can pay money for it. You should download a link app and sign into it and just have it, you know, for everything.
So if I were to make more apps, do I have to do it?
I think someone has to do it. I'll see if I can get it going. There must be a way to make it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe once you build it, you can help it. And you call that 21st century.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I love it. It's really long. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No, it's generic. It's, just creates generic XML file. Java programming behind it. But to get a program to do that, it costs money.
Did you guys get that option when you created it? Created that as well?
I didn't actually do this, and it did some time ago. The money that was available at the time. No. Generally, I think what we've done is done the template version, but things that we could turn on haven't been turned on. So most of the stuff was there, it's just basically the standard development. But people have to pay. You have to pay the whole thing, but I think there's things that we can actually turn on. So if we haven't got that out, it's a matter of what we have built up, it's a matter of us going in. Just ask, it is an uncertain outcome. Okay.
We might just, given that we're kind of coming to close the class, I think maybe you've got something you want to go over.
No, not really, but I'm happy for you to close the class.
Oh, no, I think your idea was good. Can we maybe just, it wasn't a lot of time to do that, but it might be good just to be back to each table that they focused on and come up with. Did you guys pick an idea that you kind of started to sort of think about how you can actually portray it? Not you?
Well, we just want to get trying to think on the video.
So check out in and in. Yeah. Okay. So how does that?
Oh, I got it.
That's fine. So that just has the top like 5 tables.
Well, that's the top 5 minutes where Aaron is one, number 2, Amy 3, 7, 4,
Well, I have a view that is actually measuring the numbers of times people have visited the posts that those people have put up. We're trying to turn on the other one, the number of times you post, if that makes sense. So that
First one's a heat.
yeah, and the second one is looking to turn on. It would be quite a nice thing to have the students in any course, secondary or primary, to see where they fit in the participation scale. Yeah. And then all you have to do is say, yeah, or I love it, or
That's a similar vein. I mean, so you're talking about saying how to see what other functionality we can get out of the meeting and how we can generate maybe more contributions to discussion. Which resonates from the thing we're at. But before we jump over this, is there any other key ideas that people are interested in? Could have been interesting to get to explore.
I like that. It's great. Actually,
yeah.
That's pretty important.
Right, can we jump over here? Talk about
One of the main things we've got to see is a mobile app, like Facebook mobile, so that you get your notifications straight away, and it's always there. You can always run in a situation that get there and logging on the computer or that. Somewhere and, you know, you're listening or on the train or something, and you're contributing by your mobile phone. And these are free. Well, I reckon if it's free, they will need people mass very quickly. Or community, it's $270 a year just to run this course. Typically they were paid, but Facebook's free, Twitter's free, Snapchat, Instagram, they're all free, so they've got that critical mass of people. With events, main. I get link all of the content.
And you can have like photos and links and stuff, a link to the hangout and that can be embedded or the link in it. So I think more
Absolutely, I think it's, you know, it's about hacking a bit more out of the both sides. And also, feedback. So you're doing an application for new content. And you look at how the most countries don't think about that. Yeah, well, let's look at that. We're all going to put quite a lot of information there. We want to get out. So I think so. But I mean, we're going to all running in the news and the homepage, you know, it's more sort of scribble and 40 characters and ways you can make it. Sort of make smaller ideas going in there to generate discussions, buzz, discussions. So what they're called the game is that participation and the people. Thanks, everyone.
So it doesn't necessarily mean you mentioned that we are actually going to do this.
Yeah.
The beauty of the way that the has set up the meeting is he's made everyone a coordinator. So that means, so long as you don't destroy or erase everything, which you won't do, by the way, don't worry, you can do anything you want. That is, if you'd like to turn on the leaderboard for contributions to work it out, I mean, some of us couldn't work it out straight away. I'd love you to do it. You can change the design of the environment, and that has happened in the past, and you can talk about that, I think, where people just every week looks a bit different. It's not necessarily it's not necessarily orange, it's just, you know, just a little bit different. And you can stable, and therefore it will actually keep, you know, galvanize us. The other thing is that if there were things like Nick set up, which was, I think, a really good sort of starting point, and maybe an ending point to tonight in relation to the discussion. If there were things that you thought might contribute to your project, that is like a group idea, I was even thinking of giving some of the exercise tonight, but we haven't got time. But over the week, you might have a bit of a think about your project. And there may be a way that we could get a discussion group, that is a group that's focused on a particular thing that may help you with your project. Does that make sense? And some of you may actually have similar ideas. So some projects may collapse into one project, or maybe two. And this is the strange notion, I think, that was in the first reading, that there may actually be a little bit of confusion about which project goes forward, but it would be very interesting to see if we self-organising, where people would actually decide that it's more convenient not to have three groups on the same topic or the same idea of how you manage, you know, contributions or how you manage inappropriate behaviour. You might want to have a discussion on that. If I like what I'm saying, you know, about anything to do with the project, or maybe the whole project, you want to just put up your project and get some feedback about the idea, any ideas about this particular methodology or this particular style of work, or it may be about a particular aspect of the project that you think might be, you know, of interest to the rest of us. One of the things I think that I want to say, just so that you see my spin on it, not that my students more accurate than anyone put together or that even Amy's spoken about. So they give you a really good broad overview of those readings, which is actually really important. I think that pointed you in the direction that some of the secondary readings were worth having a look at as well, especially the one, even for the terms, personal learning networks and personal learning environments, which is, I think, about 3 readings down, which it's kind of a basic idea. It's sort of, it may be something that fits in with some of the things people were just talking about over here, that you might want to have something more accessible to yourself, and it may involve mobile. Not everyone's going to be interested in a mobile app, you see what I'm saying? But some people will have a personal learning network that would involve their use of a mobile phone to access things. So having the app wouldn't be necessarily, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, it's a great idea, but you wouldn't want to have everyone necessarily forced to only access the mobile app or expect to access the mobile app all the time. It's an option. It's an option. So you would set up, that as an option. And I think that's what that personal learning network, and why you were so impressed, was that they were giving people a range of options. It was a kind of overwhelming sense for me of freedom to choose what you put in to that kind of environment, so long as you had things that the lecturing staff or the teaching staff would then be able to know this was assessment, this was your comments on reading. You had things in a way that could allow for others in the group, not just the teachers, but the lecturers, and so the students participating to search through the discussions, which is not that different to the way in which some of the MOOCs run. And I think Amy actually was really good at introducing the idea of the MOOCs, and I think there's a challenge for people to think through these. Why would you do a MOOC, and how long would you do it for, and what value are they? And she had the two kind of extremes of the MOOC styles that are running at the moment, and the third reading, or that reading about personal learning networks, was at the kind of connectedness extreme, the more open, you determine what it is that you're going to get out of the MOOC, and that's what was sort of that reading was about. It was more about that personal learning network, setting it all up. There was a course to do, but it wasn't basically, it didn't matter how you did it. You could set it up pretty much with your own kind of selection of different tools, and I think that connected this MOOC, the C MOOC they're called, and based upon Stephen Dunn's and methodology, that connected this style, are different to Udacity, Coursera. There's about 5 other really big MOOCs run by universities. So they're MOOC environments run by universities. More than Udacity and Coursera, there's quite a few of them actually. And they're very much more kind of formally structured, even though they're massive and they get out of hand and there's a lot of chaos. But the structures of them are, or if you read that personal learning thing and you read that MOOC, you'll find that those are they're more folding back to a kind of a structured course, and that's why you do them. I find them kind of attractive because they do have one topic. There might be a whole semester's work in some particular area that the university is famous for, and it is the case that you do get the best often, the most knowledgeable, the people that are writing books often appear in those MOOCs. So why would you not expect to get feedback from them? Well, because they're just too busy or they're too famous. They're unlikely to be personally going to give feedback. But in those big MOOCs that run by big universities, for example, the University of Melbourne's got 17 MOOCs running, or has had 17. There's about 4 or 5 running this semester. You can join one on climate change, which is really brilliant. Got some really smart people running, but they run it with a whole swag of student moderators. You don't know that there's students moderating these MOOCs pretty much all around the world, but that's how they do them. So you're getting feedback, but you're getting it from the students. Like it might be PhD students, but maybe you person just interested in climate change. Just wants to stimulate discussion or give you feedback about your essay or what you've done. It's not impossible to work out how they can do them. If I like, it's not going to be the case that you're going to get feedback from do experiments or sit downs or follow, but even in your own research. In fact, those guys would never do it, but they would actually make sure that did they say that they would do it? Did you think that? All right, so anyway, I'm just saying this was really an introduction to this sort of more, I'm not saying chaotic, but more distributed methods, more kind of open or freer methods, and you should think about that. Have a think about whether or not you can set up a group over the next week, and we'll talk about the projects over next week and the week after. So certainly, you've got to be starting to think about your project, even though you've got no feedback yet on your assignment. You've got to start thinking about the next assignment, I'm sorry. So thanks for tonight, that was great, and really good introduction to thinking about things we might do in the course as well. And there's no reason to not, just because you know, we talked about it, you can actually do it if you want. If you want to turn things on, go for it. Change it, go for it. So thanks everyone, we'll see you next week. Thanks, Singh. Sorry, I may have not had someone in there. I thought there was going to be somebody else in there talking, but hopefully you can talk from that. You know, hang up unless you've got any questions you want to ask. Either turn your microphone on, say hi, or give the text chat. Thanks, Singh. I sort of but thanks. I'm going to hang up now, okay? I think I've seen that. Yeah, I think I've seen it. Great. All right. Yeah.